Welcome into Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff with you, and good to have you along. Today we are joined by Steppers coach Katie Parr, and this episode brought to you by P66. And Katie, first time I've got a chance to talk to you, so good to have you along.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So what's it like being the stepper, like you were, and, now following in and being the coach?
Right, yeah, this is a really unique position because I've really gotten to see the steppers from all angles. I got to see them as a little kid, obviously coming up with my aunt to all the practices, and not all the practices, but some of them, all of the games, and getting to see it as their biggest fan, and then changing over to being a high stepper. I get to see what it's like from that side and just how amazing it is to get to perform, and now as a coach, getting to see all of the work that really goes into it on all aspects of it. So yeah, it's really been great.
And you know what the steppers expect, but still, when you come in, you're going to have your own ideas, right? And you're going to maybe change some things up just a little bit. And Kristen had been here so long.
Oh yeah.
So, how do you bridge taking what she did so well and also bringing in maybe some new ideas to take it to the next level for you?
Right, yeah. I think it's really important to keep that tradition alive and keep some really the basics there, but of course in the end I do have to make the team my own and make some changes. But it's really been nice having that just background and being able to keep everything relatively the same and start making changes just a little bit at a time to really make it my own.
Yeah, and I would imagine some of the changes not going to be the ones like we would notice up in the press box and in the stands, but it'll be more kind of when you get to your competition, I would think, is when maybe you make those tweaks, right?
Oh yeah. Little things, even just in practice, will change how the practice goes a little bit. We've done a little bit more warm-ups than we used to, and just seeing what works. And then at competition, we're going to start off taking the same dances, but then just seeing if maybe we need to change that, if we need to do something different with the dancers, just really honing in. But this year, it'll be relatively the same.
All right, so let's talk about what led you to here. So let's talk about, like I said, being a part of Ponca City, where you went to and how you ended up back in Ponca and why you wanted to ultimately do this.
Oh, right, yeah. So obviously watching the High Steppers, it was always my dream to be a High Stepper. And then whenever I finally got on the team, it was always, Katie's going to be captain. She's going to be captain. Of course, her aunt coaches, she's going to be captain. And then once I was captain, I was like, oh, I like this. And then it became, she's going to take over coaching. And so I just heard it all the time. Whenever I was a senior, they did the math that when Reagan graduated, my cousin, she was going to be coaching. I would have graduated college and then been out for 2 years. And that's what happened. And I got the call from my aunt saying, hey, I am still going to retire. Is this something you're interested in? And I was like, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. And then she started saying, okay, well, I'm going to start looking to see if other people would want to apply. And I went, nope. It's mine. Yeah. I want it. So it was just always a dream. I love getting to coach those girls, getting to help them grow, and yeah.
And that's not necessarily the only thing you're doing here either, right? So talk about your other duties.
Yeah, so I'm also the public information coordinator for the school. So social media, that's all me, and the communications, emergency communication, all of that. I'm so glad to have interns this year, and they're helping me start a TikTok. So they have been great with that, helping me with ideas and really getting that one going.
Well, I was going to say, because you're trying to, you know how you can reach the older generations, but trying to reach the younger generations have to change it a little bit.
Exactly, yeah, and getting to see what really gets them interested, what gets them excited to be at school and at the sports and everything, just really helping them get engaged.
Yeah. So what's been the most challenging thing so far since taking over?
Oh, really, most of it's been great. Really just all of the ins and outs of it, those little tiny details, making sure you remember everything, that's probably the most challenging. But those girls, the High Steppers, they're just great. They're so great to work with. For the most part, they have the best attitudes, and that's really the best you can ask for.
Well, and I mean, that's the reputation is, no shenanigans, we're here to work type stuff. We're having fun while we do it, and that's been instilled for a long time. So all the older girls, they understand.
Right.
It's probably where you have the newer ones come in where you want to keep instilling that same kind of philosophy.
Yes, exactly. This year, it's challenging because there are 15 new girls out of the 36, so that is a lot. So we don't quite have the really solid background as sometimes we do when we only have 4 or 5 new girls. But really just making sure they know that while I want them to be the best dancers possible, a lot of them won't go on and dance after high school, and just teaching them those life skills of discipline and respect is really important.
Well, and one thing about it, you learn to dance. You may not dance in high school, but you're probably going to dance the rest of your life in some sort of fashion, right? So that's what's cool about it. And then I always said this with Kristen, it's the same with you. These girls work as hard as any of the athletes that are in the school, and sometimes maybe even harder. And I don't think people understand how much work you put in, and that includes for like some sports, they put in work, but you have the season during the semester.
Right.
You kind of have a season all year long because you have all the fall football, you go into basketball, and then you have your competitions.
Exactly. Yeah, we really don't get an off season. They're there right now at 6:30 every morning working hard. We get a little time on the field, and then we might move to 7 sometimes, but really they're in for hours at a time. They work throughout football season. They get a little break for the winter break, but then they're back in the gym and they're working till the end of school. And then summer we have camp and they have workouts, and they just really don't get much time off. But yeah.
And we'll talk to you more when we get closer to the competition side. But as far as steppers are concerned, performances coming up, what are we working on?
Oh, yeah. So right now we're working on a hip hop for their homecoming pep rally, and then the hoop routine, which will be the homecoming halftime football. That one, it's a crowd pleaser. For the girls, I will say it's a little bit of a break. So they don't have to really do those high kicks that they're working super hard on, but it's such a crowd pleaser with those visuals. They really love it, and the seniors, they wanted to make sure that stayed this year. So
and another big thing, I mean, because it's always here before you know it, it'd be mini steppers, right?
Oh,
so I mean, that's probably, I would imagine, you know how to do all that, but the mini stepper side of things, that may be something different for you.
Right.
So is there a little anxiety when it comes to the mini steppers?
Hopefully lots of parent help, because they need something. They need a snack, they need to go to the bathroom, they run off a little bit, but they're so fun, and I'm so excited. I love seeing the little girls throughout the community watching the high steppers, and so excited to one day maybe try out for the team, and that's a great opportunity for them to get a little taste of it.
Well, their hope is they fall in love with it like you did, right?
Exactly, yeah. And I've already talked to people out in the community when I see them, and they're, oh my gosh, I love them, I want to be one. And that's what I love to hear.
Yeah, and do you have any idea if y'all figured out when you're going to do mini stepper and everything?
It'll be basketball season. Yeah. We're not sure what game, but January, February.
Yeah, I was going to say, usually that like I said, gets here before we know it. But I would imagine that's a big one coming up. So, hey, really appreciate the time. Looking forward to, your long career here with the Steppers, and always enjoy those performances. Like I said, I can imagine those high kicks are tough. I think I pull muscles just watching. I mean, that's how it's unreal what they're able to do in sync like that as well. So it's impressive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's not too many places in the nation have a thing like Ponca City has here at a school.
Exactly, yeah. The closest you get, most of them are in Texas. We don't really have very many around Oklahoma, and definitely not past that. But it's really, really great to watch them. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Well, Katie, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's Katie Parr with the High Steppers. I want to say thanks to Chris behind the cameras. And that's going to do it for this episode of Coach's Corner. It's been brought to you by P66. Until next time, Jordan Woodruff saying so long, and go Cats.